Here's what happened, round 11 of the FIM MX1 MX2 Motocross World Championship. The first MX2 race saw Ken Roczen slide into the lead at turn 1 ahead of Max Anstey and Jeffrey Hurlings. But it wasn't long before Hurlings found a way through into the lead ahead of his teammate. And they put on a real grandstand showdown as well. Max Anstey made a mistake on the opening lap and found himself coming from 11th as he fought his way through the field to eventually finish in 4th position. But a little bit behind them, it was a mistake for Jeffrey Hurlings. He led and made this mistake. Ken Roczen didn't quite overtake him, but he did close in a lot of ground after being held up by a back marker just a few laps before. Hurlings then moved over to let his teammate go through. And then Roczen did exactly the same thing. He allowed Jeffrey Hurlings to go through. These two really playing cat and mouse. In the end, they would battle all the way to the finish line. But Paulin and Tommy Searle went down, and then on the last lap, whilst out in front, Roczen had this big crash, and that paved the way for Hurlings to take the win in Moto number 1. MX1 race 1 saw Commander Sal on the Suzuki and Tony Cairoli get up front. Evgeny Bobryshev launched too long, he went down, took Sean Simpson, Mark Deruva, Candid Dyker and one or two others with him on that opening lap. Cairoli though found a way past Stephen Frossard and into second position behind Commander Sal. That was your first and second at the midpoint of the race. Commander Sal looked quite cool and calm and collected at the head of the field. Then he allowed Tony Cairoli to go through. We had a new race leader. Commander Sal though fought back, and every time Cairoli went into the lead, Commander Sal retaliated and would go through. DeSalle dropped down to 3rd position though when he tried to make this move on Commander Sal. A couple of laps later, he found his rhythm and moved ahead of Stephen Frossard into 2nd position. Towards the end of the race, so about 3 laps to go, Cairoli this time found a way through on Commander Sal and went on to win the race. MX2 race 2, and once again it was the KTMs who carved their way into the lead, giving Gauthier Paulin absolutely nowhere to go. And it was a little bit of carnage going through turns 1 and 2, but it was Roczen who led. He was soon passed though by Jeffrey Hurlings, who made this mistake halfway round the first lap, went down to 5th position, but by the time he'd reached the end of that first lap he was already 3rd, and then set about closing down his teammate Ken Roczen. Wasn't long before he found a way through, 3 laps in fact. And we thought we'd get a grandstand finish like we did in Moto number 1, but in the end it was Hurlings who went on to win easily. Roczen was 2nd, Van Hoorbeek was having a good ride in 3rd, where he finished in Moto number 1 as well, and it was the two Monster Energy Kawasaki's who were battling early on in around about 6th and 7th position. Jeremy Van Hoorbeek there, 89, was on course for his 2nd, 3rd place finish of the weekend to give him 3rd overall. Roczen finished 2nd. It was another win for Jeffrey Hurlings. He won the overall Grand Prix. The final race of the day, MX1 race 2, and the two KTMs of Cairoli and Nagel made sure they got to turn 1 in 1st and 2nd position. And Bobryshev got another good start, but Barragan went down. He took Tom Church with him. They picked themselves up though. Tom Church didn't score any points. Barragan battled on bravely. Cairoli though eventually found his way into the lead and then made a mistake, and he would drop to 3rd position. So our new race leader was Evgeny Bobryshev, with Max Nagel in 2nd position. Wasn't long before Cairoli found a way past his teammate to move into 2nd, and then set about closing down the gap to Evgeny Bobryshev, our race leader. A mistake prior to this corner left Bobryshev with a poor line choice going to the turn, and that was Cairoli into the lead. Gonçalves got up into 4th position ahead of DeSalle, and on the final lap his bike expired unfortunately, and he lost valuable points and an overall podium position of 2nd overall this weekend. So the overall then went to Cairoli with a race win. Nagel was 2nd, Bobryshev 3rd.